So for me, when I was growing up, my family and the settings I was in, churches, it was kind of like a real heavy emphasis on like doing the right things, being like sort of the ABCs of salvation. You have to accept the fact that you're a sinner, believe in Jesus, confess your sin, and then you're saved and you'll go to heaven. And when I was a kid, just as an example, when I was 15, I was riding my bike and I was crossing a busy highway and I was wearing headphones, a Radio Man or Walkman or whatever it was back then. And I remember waking up in the hospital and don't really know what happened, but I was told I was hit by a car. So and my first thought when I woke up was, man, I hope mom and dad didn't see what radio station I was listening to. And so that just kind of like is a picture for me of like how I had to live my life. Like you have to do the right things, otherwise you're gonna get in trouble. You know, as I left my family and joined the military, I had a lot of opportunities to get in trouble and make dumb decisions, and more often than not, I made those dumb decisions. And it continued to have this like sense of guilt that I wasn't doing the right things, and I knew the right things I was supposed to do. And then during that time in the military, I ended up sort of recommitting my life to the Lord and really trying hard to be a good Christian. And later got married, and eventually my wife and I, we went into ministry with international students with an organization called InterVarsity and at the University of Kentucky. And we connected with a lot of people there from other countries, particularly the group that we connected with the most, that really helped me understand grace was a group, the Indians, people from a Hindu background. And it was during my journey sort of talking and trying to reach out to them that I began to understand like this sort of emphasis on truth without relationship, without a connection to like humans, and like why would I follow Jesus when your life looks like this? And so many of the Indians that I met had so many values of Jesus. Like they were full of humility, and hospitality was such a value. When I would come over, everything would stop and they would serve tea and you would just really interact. And even if they're in the middle of something, you become the center of attention. And so just some of the values that they embraced really sort of made me rethink. Yes, truth is there. Like, yes, you need to follow Jesus and be a committed follower of him in order to receive salvation, or sort of in order to walk the path that he's calling us to walk. But calling people to that can't be done outside of that deep relationship. And I remember really struggling with this. One time we invited a group of people to come do a concert, and these 4 people, they grew up as missionary kids in India and Nepal, and were deeply like committed into the Hindu sort of style of music. And they wanted to, they created a music group and brought a very Hindu style of devotional music to the Indian community. And so you would listen to it and it would be a sitar and tabla, so we brought them on campus to have a concert, and I really was wrestling with this idea of, man, how do I get these people to the next step? I'm gonna get 100, 150 Indians to come. They're all excited about it, but how do I get them to commit to like a Bible study afterwards, or something like that, move them down the funnel closer to Jesus? And I remember having a conversation with one of my friends at the time he and his family had recently come back from West Bengal, which is where Calcutta is. And he and I were talking about this idea of, moving people closer to Jesus. And he said, sometimes it's okay to just let something beautiful be beautiful, and you don't have to feel this pressure of getting truth in there. God can use that opportunity to fill them with grace and truth in the context of just something beautiful that he's doing. One of the things that we've done over the last year is really begin to dive deep into relationship with a bunch of different people in our home community. And I think if everybody showed up on a Sunday, we have about 30 or 35 people that come. And we're really trying to connect with people very relationally. Like throughout the week, we're reading scripture together and we're trying to encourage each other relationally. And inside the context of that relationship, it's not so much like, hey, you have to do A, B, and C, or you should stop doing that. But those kind of conversations certainly are being had, but they're being had inside the context of our loving relationship. And for me, like personally, I've brought it even more close to home in the way I try to parent my children, the way I try to connect with my wife. I don't want to be so hardcore about, hey, I want you to behave A, B, and C, and certainly I want them to, but I want them to know that my deep love for them, and that if they don't, if they mess up, like, it's okay, because I need as much grace as possible in my life, and I want to offer that as much as I can to my family and the people around me. As I've grown in my walk with the Lord, I have found that we talk about grace and truth as sort of these objects, and really what they are is they're Jesus. Jesus is the truth. Jesus is full of grace, and he embodies those things. And so I encourage you, and I encourage myself and my family, like, let's seek to know him and be fully known by him, and then we can hold grace and truth together because we're holding him.